Elsewhere in our nation's capital this afternoon, a frustrated President Trump is ramping up pressure on Russia to end its ongoing war with Ukraine, threatening punishing tariffs on Moscow if a deal is not reached soon.
And as News 15's Madeline Rivera explains, the president also striking a deal with NATO to sell weapons to help Ukraine.
Russian President Vladimir Putin continuing his attacks on Ukraine. Russia launching more missiles and dozens of drones into Ukraine overnight.
The president has said he wants to see an end to this. He's given Vladimir Putin numerous occasions to negotiate a ceasefire to stop these barbaric attacks.
This as President Trump's special envoy arrived in Ukraine's capital of Kyiv Monday. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky calling the conversation productive, adding the U.S. and Ukraine discussed the path to peace and what we can practically do together to bring it closer. The meeting coming on the heels of President Trump teasing a major statement on Russia, now in the third year of its war against Ukraine. This as President Trump's frustrations with Putin over the lack of a peace deal have mounted in recent weeks.
Well, I think what we have witnessed now for so many weeks is certainly an honest attempt by the president with Putin to get him to come to the negotiating table. And what has Putin done? He has escalated the war rather dramatically, and particularly against Ukrainian citizens.
On Capitol Hill, consensus seemingly growing on both sides of the aisle in support of legislation aimed at crippling Russia's oil industry and hitting Moscow with U.S. sanctions. This as NATO's Secretary General Mark Rutte is in Washington for meetings with lawmakers and the president.
We are very unhappy, I am, with Russia. Based on that, we're going to be doing secondary tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days.
In addition to President Trump announcing plans to sell weaponry to NATO allies that they can then pass on to Ukraine, he's also pledging more Patriot air defense missiles. In Washington, Madeline Rivera for News 15.